Hello, hello. So today I'm going to be talking about the best practices in online courses. As I was reading through the excerpt for this assignment, I was very intrigued by a few things that I read. And one of those things being that one of the reasons for creating online courses is to get less interaction, which I found very fascinating. Just because, I understand it, because an online distance class, obviously, you're not face to face or in a classroom with other people. However, when we think about education and learning, one of the biggest emphasis, at least in my setting that I teach in, which is a fifth grade classroom, constantly we're told to make sure your students are interacting. Make sure they have a time to talk and give feedback to each other. Because one of the best ways students can learn is actually from each other. And sometimes I'm completely amazed by the fact that I could stand up front and say something a million times, but when the child sitting next to that one student who might be their best friend, it could even be their enemy, but because they said it in kid terms or just in a different way that I hadn't done it yet, all of a sudden they get it and it clicks. So it just was very interesting to hear it from that perspective as an online course in education as far as truly distancing students. So I found an article called Leading Edge Online Classroom Education, Incorporating Best Practices Beyond Technology. And basically, it lays out some things such as the psychology behind online classes, and then it breaks it down into incorporating multiple intelligences, and then also managing online classes. So it's definitely from a teacher perspective. But one of the things that really stuck out to me about this particular article was that it states, as educators strive to adapt to new norm of technology and enhance the classroom course delivery, the use of technology has grown in popularity as a tool to integrate to offering a dynamic and leading edge online classroom experience. Although there are similar components to delivering quality face-to-face and online instruction, an obvious modality difference between quality face-to-face and online instruction is the proficient and creative use of technology in the online classroom. So one thing that went along with that is, yes, we can use technology all we want, and specifically in a distance learning environment. Obviously, technology needs to be used. But it can be used in the idea of just sharing content, so almost like an email conversation in a way. Or we can use technology in an effective, quality way and have our students actually interacting with the content and interacting with each other. And as I had just mentioned, one of the biggest things in my classroom and in my setting that I'm in, being the 5th grade K-12 setting, is that constant interaction with peers. And we, like I said, we could learn something from our peer that we just were not getting from the instruction that was provided. So one of the things that really stood out about this article was making sure that the technology is used in an intentful, purposeful way. And it also talks about the planning that needs to go into distance learning, the organizing, the leading, and also the controlling. So monitoring performance, student performance, comparing it with goals, and taking the corrective action as needed. As all forms of teaching, we always need to be reflective of our practices and not be afraid to go back and change something that doesn't work. And that's the same with distance education. And it's also important that we're not just using one approach to sharing content on distance education. It can't just all be videos. It can't just all be lecture style. It's important to incorporate a variety of different modalities in there. And that's all I have to say about the best practices in online learning. I hope you were able to take away something from this blog, and I look forward to sharing. Bye.